See, there's a lot going on in Nigeria as to regards to insecurity. The students that were abducted in school in Oyo State are still yet to return. So there's a lot of insecurity going on in Nigeria. But you see this matter going on in South Africa. It has also claimed the lives of a lot of Nigerians and other African nationality. But here's the truth here. After looking at the whole thing happening, I can only come up with one answer. You see this man?
Me people, I've been watching the propaganda being pushed across Africa to separate South Africa from the rest of the continent. And honestly, I don't understand why more people are not speaking about this, right? As a foreigner who has lived in South Africa for 17 years, I believe that I'm qualified to speak.
Hello guys, how are you all doing? Let's talk about VDM. You see, VDM has been so busy with what is happening in Nigeria currently due to the immigration, the security issues Nigerians have been facing. Yeah, he has been lending his voice and he has forgotten about Nigerians in South Africa. So he chose to make a video by saying he's 100% sure without any conviction that these people are being sponsored by the government, because on a normal country, on a normal, why would people that are threatening the life of immigrants in a country, people who pay tax, and the government is not doing anything about it? His own advice is that Nigerians, if you are staying in South Africa, please go and register. We all know what the government of Nigeria is actually trying to do, trying to repatriate its citizens. If you're in South Africa and you know you're a foreigner, please leave that country. Especially when you're a black skin, they are so scared of white people. They are trembling when they're in front of a white man. They cannot even open their mouth. They cannot. These people, they cannot open beam in front of a white man, but they have that power only when they see their fellow black. But you know what? The only thing that gives black person power is when your government intervenes in something that is very important. Like, look at how the Ghana government is doing. There are some of them that are even scared, even though they are doing those their nonsense thing. When they get drunk or when they think that their nonsense thing, they always smoke. These people, to be honest, they don't have sense in their head. You cannot tell me that South Africans have sense. No. Some of them don't have sense. I'm telling you, because with someone that has sense, you cannot go about be whipping people. They don't have document. You are in your country. You don't even have ID, and you'll be saying you are South Africa. What makes you South Africa? You don't even have ID. Nothing. You don't have in your name. Even land you don't have in your name. Anyway, guys, if you're new on this channel, you haven't subscribed on my video, please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, take a look and watch this video.
I strongly believe that is being sponsored by the South African government to depopulate other African nationalities living in South Africa. That's just the only thing that makes sense to me in all of this. Because make it make sense that this guy goes around with other jobless South Africans. They go and hunt down other Africans. They put it on video. They beat up other Africans. In some cases, they have unalive other Africans, and their government is not doing anything. This is the man that goes around causing breach of law and order, and the governments don't seem to do anything about it. It's the only thing that makes sense is that the South African government are the ones sponsoring him to do all of this. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because in a system that works, they would have arrested him. They would have looked for a way to calm it down, unless they are the ones behind it. Do you understand? Unless they are the ones behind it. That's the only thing that makes sense. But it's one thing for the government to sponsor. It's another thing for these people to go around hunting people. It means that this is who they actually are. My point for this video is simple. Nigerians, Ghanaians, all the other African nationalities that are being hunted every day in South Africa, I think maybe it's time for you people to leave. Leave them and their country alone. I know there's nothing much to do here in Nigeria because the government are so corrupt, and other African countries too. Just the way we have bad leaders, that's the way they also have bad leaders. It's so sad that we have what we have. We are actually richer than South Africa if we convert the resources we have, we Nigerians, but we are cursed with bad leaders. So the point of this video is to say you guys should leave. It's not only the people that don't want you there. The government itself don't want you there. They are not acting like people that want you there. So it's obvious that they are behind all these things. As for me, myself, and I, well, South Africa is one country that I love. because of Nelson Mandela and because of Brenda Fassie, you know. I've always watching them, watching The Gods Must Be Crazy, watching Mr. Bones. You know, this is a country where I thought, oh, one day I'm going to visit. But it's quite unfortunate that I don't feel the same way anymore, you know, because it doesn't make sense that I go to a country where we look alike, but I am scared because you might just turn around and stab me in the back. It doesn't make any sense, you know. I'm in China, I travel all over, you know, go to like different continents, and then these people don't even look like me, but they are not trying to stab me in the back. But my own brothers are always trying to stab me in the back because I'm in their country. And the reason behind this is not because they say I steal from them. It's not because they say I unalive them. It's not because they say I am behind terrorism in their country. They are saying I take their jobs. Their jobs. In 2026, you know. It is what it is. Well, shout out to all the South Africans that that don't behave like they are so-called hunters, you know. Peace and love. Shout out to Williams. It makes me laugh. Back to Nigeria and the insecurity.
On this issue, right? And I suspect that many foreigners will also agree with me on this one. Yes, things are tense today, right? Yes, there are serious problems here, but it was not always like this, right? Let me tell you a story. Growing up in Zimbabwe, you know, many of our mothers were cross-border traders. They traveled here to South Africa to buy and sell goods, right? Before many of us ever set our foot here, right? If you're Zimbabwean, you know exactly what I'm talking about here, right? Our mothers came back home with stories of kindness here. They came back with clothes, man, sometimes with food. Some South Africans even offered money, you know, simply wanting to help, all right? That is why when the Zimbabwe's economy collapsed in 2008, many people chose South Africa, right? We had grown up hearing about the hospitality of its people, right? And when we arrived here, South Africans didn't disappoint me, people. We lived together here. We worked together. We built together. Just before the World Cup, I still remember, you know, we were one people, but then something began to change, right? Life became harder here. The economy slowed down. The jobs also started to become scarce around here. At the same time, more and more people kept coming, right? Arriving from across the continent. South Africans, they started raising concerns about this. They were asking whether the country could sustain the pressure, you know, whether there was an imbalance, like developing, you know, between economic opportunity and the number of people that are depending on it, right? Which is normal. Whether one agreed with those concerns or not, they were being raised, right? And what happened? Silence. The political class ignored the conversation. They waited for the pressure to just die down. Then it came back again. They were ignored again and again, year after year. This is what was happening. Meanwhile, unemployment, it continued to rise. The economy also stopped growing. Everyone knows this. Then, frustration, you know, it continued to rise. That's what you would expect, right? Now we have reached a point where the issue can no longer be ignored. What we've been sweeping under the carpet for years now, we can't ignore it anymore now. The carpet has become lumpy. It's causing people to fall, right? So we are now forced to confront what should have been addressed a long time ago. And the truth is, it's not good, my people. It's not looking good. This is why I get frustrated when I see Africans looking at South Africa and reducing everything happening here just as, you know, South Africans are xenophobic, and that's it. You know, that's not analysis, my people. That's intellectual laziness. You know, Africa will not be built by slogans, my people, not by emotions. We are too emotional right now, and that needs to end. Africa will build by our willingness to confront difficult conversations. And as a Pan-African, I believe that this situation requires all of us, my people. What is happening in South Africa is not merely a South African crisis. And I keep talking about this. It is a regional crisis, right? And when you consider migration pressures, there's unemployment, government failures, economic instability, the conflicts that are going on across the continent, you quickly see that it's a continental issue now. So you cannot solve continental issues with national conversations alone. That's what we're talking about here. South Africa needs Africa to listen, not to attack them, not to label them, not to dismiss them, just to listen, right? Because Pan-Africanism itself is not the refusal to discuss problems, my people. It is the courage to discuss them, but honestly, for a change, right? When South Africans say we hear your message about one Africa, but we can't fit the entire continent in South Africa here, that concern deserves engagement, my people, not just attack. You know, real unity requires honesty and difficult conversations. It requires understanding the forces that are shaping our reality and working together to find solutions to solve them, right? If we cannot do that, then we should as well just stop pretending that we're serious about unity around here, right? And lastly, I want Africans also to understand something important here. Sometimes 2 or 3 things can be true at the same time, right? It can be true that migration issues or migration pressures are real around here, right? It can also be true that citizens have legitimate concerns here. It can also be true that violence against innocent people is not right, and must be condemned. These truths, they don't cancel each other out, you people. Mature thinking allows us to hold multiple truths at the same time. And as Pan-Africanists, we need South Africa in the Africa that we are trying to build here. There is no one Africa without South Africa, right? That is why I urge you, my brothers and sisters across the continent, to try and understand South Africans just a little bit more than the headlines want you to. Because if Africa becomes divided within itself, my people, then those people who never wanted African unity in the first place, they win, right? We can't allow that. Think about it.